Studying is hard. I feel like it's one of those things that a lot of people do, but very few people actually know what they're doing, including myself.
Surface to air radar! It's a mess out here, sir!
Different things work for different people, and I feel like nowadays everybody's just trying to find that one thing that works for them that will make studying just a little bit easier.
So that's why you're here, I take it.
So in this video, I'm just going to show you how I use a PS4 controller to study, and also to show you how you can use this same principle and apply to other softwares and other applications as well. So let's get right into it. Hey there, if you're new to this channel, my name is Dami and I'm a fourth year medical student, and on this channel I like to talk about tech and productivity and how one affects the other. So this is a PS4 controller. I've used this thing a ton over the past few years, like mainly when I was playing Sekiro and Hollow Knight. Shout out to those games, by the way. But gaming aside, when you actually break it down, a controller is actually just an input device, just like a mouse or a keyboard or any other input device you can think of. And the great thing about input devices is that you can map various keys on them to execute various commands on whatever software or application that you're using, which is what makes this perfect for what I use it for. To cut right to the point, I mainly assign various buttons on the controller to various commands in Anki. If you don't know what Anki is, it's mainly a flashcard app that I use to revise. And mainly when I'm using Anki, I'd have to use my fingers and my keyboard, but the problem with that is that it's just not ergonomic. Constantly tapping my spacebar with my thumb over like 200, 300, 400 flashcards kind of makes my thumb a bit stiff, and that's where this controller came in. The controller basically contributes to a concept called the flow state. Now I'm not going to get into too much detail about the flow state because it's actually a very vast topic. All you need to know about the flow state is that it's a feeling that you get when all the right conditions are met that allows you to become completely immersed in the work you're doing. And one of the main aspects of achieving the flow state is creating an environment that is free from friction or things that will pull you away from your work or make your work a bit harder to do. This controller is specifically designed to be comfortable and held for long periods of time. So when I'm using it, I don't have to worry about my hands getting cramped, which makes it a lot easier for me to stay in the flow state. That's not to say that I don't do my flashcards normally from time to time, but I've personally found that I'm a lot more immersed in the flashcards when I'm using my controller. So let me show you how it works. So over here on the screen is just what I typically see on Anki, and this is just a typical flashcard. So at the top of the screen is just the question, and then here is just the prompt for the answer. So normally when I look at the flashcard, I firstly look at the question, but afterwards I reveal the answer. So the answer to this is just dendrites. And then once I press spacebar and it shows the answer, then I will have to give Anki a response to how well I knew the answer. So if I didn't know the answer at all, I'd press 1 for again, so which will bring up the flashcard again in 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes, and then normally I press good if I know pretty well. So typically I just continue like that. So this would be cell body, this would be axon, this would be axon, and so on and so forth. So I'd just be pressing spacebar and one of the buttons over and over again. And if I don't know the answer, I'd press 1. The problem with this is that I'm not really in a comfortable position right now, and over 200, 300 flashcards, it's not really the most comfortable thing. So that's where this controller will come in. I really just have to sit back with the controller in my hand and I just keep going like that. So this is glial cells, central nervous system, multiple, more than one. It'd be pretty embarrassing if I didn't know this answer is on camera. So like you can see that I'm just seated with the controller in my hand. Sometimes it's even in one hand and I'm just like basically tapping away, and I find this a lot more comfortable than sitting up and pressing the keyboard. Alright, so I'm just going to show you how to set it up. Alright, so first of all, you're just going to need to open any normal web browser. In this case, I'm using Safari, and just look for the app Enjoyable for Mac. This is the website. Ignore the art style of the website. I don't know why it looks like this, but the app itself is really handy. So you download the app Enjoyable, and then you'll be given an application file, and then you just drag it to your application folder. Once you open it, it looks something like this. At the start, it will be empty because you don't have any controller connected to it, but this is the point where you will connect your controller. So here I have my PS4 controller. In order to start the pairing function on a PS4 controller, you just hold the PlayStation button and the share button for a few seconds together until the controller starts flashing, and then you just go to your Bluetooth settings and add it. It's nothing special, and then the light will go solid, and that means it's connected. So once it's connected, you just come to the app and then basically assign buttons on the keyboard to buttons on the controller. This is how I have mine set up. You don't have to have it set up the same way, but I found that this works for me. So once you have the whole thing set up, basically learn the key commands that you put in, you press this button here, and then you're off. So then you just open up Anki and everything should just work as normal. Cystic glial cells, they're responsible for reactive gliosis. Schwann cells are responsible for the axons and neurons in the peripheral nervous system. So we'll see, it works. And that's it. You don't have to use this method for Anki. You can also use it for other apps. I'm personally interested to see how this would work with video editing or any of the other apps I use for content creation purposes. I'm pretty sure it would work. I know other companies such as Elgato have their own kind of like hotkey kind of hubs, and I think this is an adequate alternative. And I know a lot of people that just have PS4 controllers lying around anyway, so it's just an easy and simple way to have extra keys or extra shortcuts to use. For everyday scenarios, you could just assign like copy and paste to the different buttons. Like those are commands that I use pretty often, or like any other like advanced command that I would just like to assign to one button. But anyways, that's basically it. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribe. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. And then that's it from me. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.